if you're a small business owner, well, heck, if you're just a business owner, the odds are you've run across ChatGPT, you've played around with it quite a bit, and you've probably gotten over the novelty of trying to make it write stuff like it was Shakespeare or Paris Hilton. And now it's time to move it into a business capacity. So the trick is, how do you take ChatGPT and make sure that you're still writing in your authentic voice, you're still providing value, and you've got a system for making sure that your brand guidelines are enforced across your business units? So in other words, you don't want everybody writing in a different style just because they've gotten a hold of ChatGPT and it can write faster than them. So in order to do that in a business environment and really capture the advantages of ChatGPT, you have to have a scalable prompting system. You have to have a library of prompts that people can access. And you have to have style guides and brand guidelines so that everyone across your organization knows what style to use for what kind of communication. So think of it this way. If you have a shareholders communication, you have a certain tone. If you have a blog post, you have a certain tone. If you have an apology letter to customers, you have a certain tone. If you have a thank you letter for a customer who complimented you online, you have a different tone for that. And your CEO has a different tone and your marketing people have a different tone, but you have to have some style guides. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we do all that in our organization and how you can repeat it inside of yours. So what we've developed is a framework that we call dynamic prompt sequencing. And it's a framework that I learned from John Benson. If you don't know who John Benson is, he's the father of the VSL. He's an amazing copywriter, probably one of the top 3 copywriters in the world. Anyway, we took these concepts and we extended them for internal use in a marketing department or in a business. The first thing you're going to need to do is upgrade. You're going to need to get access to GPT-4. So that means you're going to have to shell out $20 a month. That boils down to about 12 cents an hour. Bottom line is you need to upgrade to GPT Plus. All right, that's the key to running a business using AI tools like this one. You're also going to want to create a prompt library. We use a product called Notion, and you can see our library here. It allows us to take prompts that maybe we've stumbled across somewhere else or that we've thought up internally, but put them into a production environment where we can modify them, test them, refine them, approve them, and then actually distribute them among the workforce, and they can access them inside of this prompt library. And Notion, you can get it for free. We have the Plus version, formerly known as the Team version, but it's well worth it, and I'll show you why here in just a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to first analyze some copywriting and see what the style is, and then we're going to use that style moving forward to write content in that style. All right, now you can have styles for your CEO, you could have styles for your CMO, you could have styles for your press releases, whatever the case may be. That's why it's important to have a library so that you can call upon those styles and make it easy as you move forward. All right, now what we're going to do just for giggles is we're going to analyze the writing style of this letter. If you don't know who Gary Halbert was, he's also one of the greatest copywriters to have ever lived. He wrote these letters to his sons to basically explain copywriting to them over the years. This is going to be a little bit more salesy, but I'm just going to show you how the analysis works. What you would want to do is you would want to take samples of your emails or samples of your press releases or samples of anything and have GPT analyze those samples so that you could emulate it going forward. So here's how this works. We're going to go over here and we're going to take our basic our basic writing analysis prompt, and that's this. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to run over here I'll go to this chat window. Let me recycle it just to make sure we're connected. Sometimes it disconnects. Now, another thing, I actually have 3 subscriptions to ChatGPT Plus because you're limited to 25 messages every 3 hours. I'll usually time out inside of an hour. and get put in what we call GPT jail. So I like to keep working. So we have actually in the organization, we have 5 different subscriptions and we swap in and out. All right, so we're going to paste that prompt in here and you'll see that I've got room here for an example. I've got style points up here. Let me just take this letter. We're going to copy it. I'm going to go back over here to example and we're going to just paste it over here. All right. I don't need the love dad stuff, so we'll just get rid of that. All right. And we're going to tell GPT to act as a copywriting expert and analyze the writing style of the example, right? And we're telling it to then complete the style, which is what this is. All right. So now let's watch and see what happens. So as you can see, GPT has pulled out the data that we want to emulate this style going forward. Now, this is our basic one. We have a more advanced one that we teach in our advanced course, but I just wanted you to see the basics. So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to go to our prompt library, and then we're going to put it in there, and we'll call this, I don't know, we'll call it CEO, all right? Okay, and I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste it in here. But what I like to do, because this is a field, if you were to hit enter right now, it would enter it. All right, but we need to actually put some stuff in front of it. And so you have to hit shift enter. All right, so I'm going to put in the word style. Whoops. Up ahead of it. Okay, so it's going to say style, and then at the end I'm going to throw in 2 little shift returns so there's a gap between it and the prompt or whatever comes underneath it. That's just a little handy tip. That's how we handle it over here. All right, and you can write in a description and a type. You can see we have the different areas of our prompt sequencing here. This one is what we would call a pre-prompt. And then we would say this is in testing right now. We have other fields here as well. This is actually for ChatGPT, so we'll throw that in there. All right, so now we got the CEO writing style down as a pre-prompt. All right, so now what we need to do is we want to craft a letter and an email. And so what I've got over here is a sample email that we want to create. And that is where we're going to hold a team meeting for the marketing team, and we're going to hold it on a bi-weekly basis. The topic's going to be AI and ChatGPT for cost reduction. We want to explore how to use it to reduce outsourcing costs, decrease time to market, increase marketing effectiveness, streamline marketing processes. And now I'm telling GPT to include the 3 most critical topics that it thinks that I need to cover in terms of using GPT in particular to upgrade our marketing efforts, etc., and stay ahead of the competition. So I'm going to take that as context, and I'm going to take the style, the CEO writing style, as our prompt. But I need to create the email writing prompt. So I'm going to go to my library now, and I'm just going to take this prompt. All right, so I'm going to take this prompt and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go back over here, paste that in there. And so you can see I've got room for my context and room for my style. This is my context. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right up here. All right, do a little shift enter because I don't want to hit enter and start processing. And I'm going to go over here. Now we're going to go grab the CEO style, and I had deleted all this stuff and customized it so that it is now ready to be filled in. So we're going to go over here, paste it down. All right, and so now you can see I've got my context, I've got my style. Whoops, I got 2 of these in here because it was already in there. All right, and now it's the prompt itself. I'm using this to designate the fact that this is where the prompt actually starts. Everything else is what we would call a pre-prompt. So I'm going to say using style as the writing tone, draft content type, which is a variable, right? And then I'm going to say that captures the ideas presented in context. All right, so let's go over here and let's figure out what our content type is. We're going to say that our content type is an email. We don't really have a product or service on this one, so I don't need to have that in there. And the rest of it we can let stand. Okay, so let's take that and see what happens. Okay, so there you go. Now, if we'd given it a name and some other stuff up here instead of just me, it could have written it differently. But I want to show you what happens when we just adjust a variable. So I'm just going to do a Control A and I'm going to select all of that. I'll cancel that. So here are the variables that we had in here. Directness was high, personal and engaging, humor level low to moderate. Now you can actually use numerics here. And I want to show you what it does when we actually throw some numerics in there and we balance this out a little bit. So if I'm going to paste this in here, and let's go up here and let's just say that our humor level is a 2. And you could probably go from 0 to 10. I've even thrown in really big numbers here to see, but after you get above 10, it doesn't get too different. All right, so here, let's take that and see how she does. All right, now you can see it got a little bit goofy on there. It starts throwing emojis in there and all kind of clever little things. There are other variables that we could throw in there as well. I could crank up the humor quite a bit, or I could drop it to 0. There are a couple other variables in our advanced training that we could throw in here that really tighten it up. But let's just say that we're going to be really intense here. And as far as the educational level goes, how about I go, we'll make it simple, 9th grade. All right, with those, let's see how we do. Actually, I might even go high on the strategic. Once you really capture the style you're looking for, you can lock in on those, but it's kind of fun to experiment until you get it knocked out. All right, so you can clearly see the difference here. Our inaugural meeting will take place as the CEO of our company versus up here where it says as the fearless leader, right? Mark your calendars because our first meeting will take place on. So you've got those levers that you can twist. And the neat thing about that is it's very, very scalable and it's simple. So you don't have to start writing new sentences and saying, no, write like this, no, write like that. That becomes a real pain. Once you have these levers down, it becomes a really simple process to integrate throughout your organization and really speed up the content creation process. So there you have it. Now you've got a library, you've got a scalable system of prompts, you've got a style guide that you've got ready to go. You're ready to deploy this throughout the organization. That's it. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Appreciate you listening. If you like this, like and subscribe. That'll help the YouTube algorithm bring us up so we can present this content to more people like yourselves. If you want to go deeper, there's a link below that'll show you how you can get involved in our upgrades, updates, and our more advanced courses. So, all right, that's all, folks. See you next time.